As we always start out the show, Big SILZ. Welcome aboard. Appreciate everybody stepping in. So many options out there. And you choose to come here each and every single day. And we thank you. Right off the top, we got a special guest with us today. There's only 3 coaches in the Super Bowl era that have won a national championship and a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson, and Barry Switzer. We are going to have the 3-time national champion and one of the greatest coaches in the history of American football. Barry Switzer will be with us at 4:30. I'm looking forward to getting his perspective. You got to remember something. When he first started in college football, he had 2 teams go undefeated, and they wouldn't give him the national championship because his teams were on probation. I think they were like 11-0 and 10-0-1. And he, in theory, has won 5 national titles. But without a doubt, we look forward to talking to Coach Switzer. That'll be at 4:30. So, I mean, I have never had him on my show, radio or on the National Football Show. I have not had him on, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews. So I look forward to talking with him. And yeah, he's probably going to start the show off. I'm still pissed off at you, SILZ, for going and playing at Miami. And I wore this, of course, for him. And not staying at Oklahoma because I had signed a scholarship to go play at Oklahoma. And Jimmy talked me into it because he wanted me to stay close to home. And that's how I pitched it to Coach Switzer. And he allowed me to get out of the scholarship. All good, man. So I look forward to talking to Coach Switzer. You know, I was just telling Xander. Oh, by the way, I want to start this out. Do you know what the power of greatness is? So I text my friend today, and many of you know, Xander, how many times has Ice Cube been on the program? 4? And as many of you know, he's the owner of the Big 3, right? Ice Cube's been on our program like 4 times. I've been friends with him for over 3 decades. I love Ice Cube. You guys know he comes on the program all the time. And he offered Caitlyn Clark, the Iowa superstar, $5 million for her to go and play in the Big 3. Phew. Man, are you a star? You got celebrities fighting for you. And you're a white chick. She's the Larry Bird of the modern day for women's sports and women's basketball. And some of you going, SILZ, why race? You don't think race played into Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's rivalry, Celtics and Lakers? You don't think any of that played into that perfect time in a perfect moment? We're looking at Caitlyn Clark here, and you're going like, this is a perfect moment in a perfect time when there's politics going on in women's sports. And Caitlyn Clark is bringing women's sports into the center light of sports and onto the front page. She's more popular than, I don't even know. Hey, who is the player of the year in college basketball this year? The guy from Purdue? Is he the national player of the year? I don't know. I know that girl is. And I know that girl sells out arenas. She's like she's like LeBron. It's incredible. It's an incredible story. $5 million. She was offered $3.5 million to stay in college by Fox TV so that they could cover her games next year. The power of star power just shows you. Again, I mean, kudos to her, man. That's fantastic. And I love to see that here I am talking about it to open my show. Okay? Incredible. I want to give you a little bit of an update on where the Eagles are with Hassan Reddick. And to just show you how probably pissed off he is right now. in the process of going through these negotiations with the Eagles and trying to figure out how this thing is all going to play out. Eagles aren't going to tell you anything. And basically, their actions are showing you they really don't want, I don't think, the player back. So be it. Jadeveon Clowney just got $10 million a year for a guy who's never lived up to his ability. Here's a guy who was the #1 overall selection in the draft. Never had a double-digit sack year in his entire career. And he's going to get over $10 million a year. Jadeveon Clowney signs a contract with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, and Flexing goes, is that his 5th team? I don't know. Hey, watch this. He can't stop the run. Okay, but Steve, that's not the point. I agree. He's underachieved his entire career. He got $10.5 million. This guy gets $10.5 million or $12 million to go to Carolina as an underachieving defensive end. If you're Hassan Reddick, you're doing this. Wait a minute. I've had 27 sacks in 2 years. And by the way, you guys know how I feel about the player. But you know what? He has a point. He has a point. Right? He's got a point. All the things you're saying are definitely true. And Flexing goes, he's getting money from everyone. That's why the Panthers are the Panthers. Brian, okay? So someone's stupid enough out there to pay him, right? Steve goes, how he knows what he's doing. Not on defense, he doesn't. I'm going to make a point to you here. Since you went there, Steve, let's go to what Todd Bowles said this morning and yesterday about Devin White. Let me go to the sheets. Here's what Todd Bowles said at the owners' meetings in Orlando yesterday afternoon. Okay? This is what a coach that I happen to have a lot of respect for, Todd Bowles, said about Devin White. Or how about this? Taking shots at him through KJ Britt. And Twiz says Devin's going to shock the world. This is what his former employer, who gave great reviews to Shaq Barrett in Miami, had to say about your new acquisition at linebacker, or if you can read the tea leaves. Maybe most of you aren't smart enough, but here's what Todd Bowles, not Dan Sileo. And it was because I talked to some folks down there, and they said he did take shots at him. White signed, get this. You want to know why? Why do you guys think there's animosity between Devin White and the Buccaneers? No. It's not hating. I just want you to know what you're getting, RTF. It's not hating anything. I just want you to know what you're getting. Okay? White is better than anything, than anyone we have had lately. Not true. Okay? There you go, Anthony. Do you know that, hey, Xander, check this out. Do you know that Devin White had a contract demand of over $90 million last year? And he signed a contract with the Eagles for less than $90 million on what he initially asked the Bucs for. $90 million gamble failed. And that's why he didn't play, didn't want to play, cried and moaned, and did what was in the best interest for himself. Some guy to sign. I'm not so sure I'm not that pissed off if I'm him either. But obviously, The Eagles didn't think highly of him, just with the money they gave him. He took an over $90 million pay cut on his contract demands for the Bucs. You know why I know this too? I asked Jason Light. He had contract demands, and he said he signed a contract with the Eagles for less than $90 million of what he asked us for. Theoretically, $100 million less than what he wanted in Tampa is what he signed for. That's why that guy cried and moaned. Okay? White's going to be a beast. Well, let's go on a little bit here. Todd Bowles praised his new linebacker group, said he's really excited. And he goes like this, we're not in a position right now where we have to always look at a guy's 40. KJ Britt is a football player. What, Devin White wasn't? Huh. He may not be a superstar athlete. This is Todd Bowles, not me. He may not be a superstar athlete, but he's always in the right place. And that's someone you can count on. Can't count on Devin White to be in the right place in the right defense? Interesting. You don't have to worry about him constantly underachieving. He gives you his best results. And he's a great addition to our linebacking core. These are all things that the defensive people are saying about your guy. But magically, he's going to parachute into Philly, and all of a sudden, he's going to change all those behaviors that he's exhibited for 6 years. And all of a sudden, that'll change overnight. When have you ever seen that? Where a guy goes to a new place like that and changes his entire makeup and who he is. Did it happen with T.O.? T.O., the only difference between T.O. and Devin White, T.O. is a great player. Always. But T.O. never changes his attitude. Ever. I think it's crazy. And again, why it's important is because Devin White's not even in the Buccaneer organization anymore. What's it to Todd Bowles? Todd wanted to make a point, and so did Jason Light, the general manager, on how bad their time with Devin White was in Tampa, that they've gone out of their way. There's something to that. The Bucs aren't an I covered that team for 15 years. The Glazers got me fired. I'm no fan of them. But that's not how they operate. That is not how they operate. So anyone trying to tell me that that's not a big deal for an organization like the Niners to do, or like the Buccaneers to do that, you're out of your mind. You're making, once again, these crazy-ass excuses up for somebody that you signed, and you're trying to make it into a shiny star when, quite frankly, it's a penny. It's incredible. Okay? It's incredible. $90 million pay cut he took. This is nothing I said. This is everything that the people that were at the owners' meetings yesterday and today. The business side got personal. It happens, SILZ. It does. But do you want a player that, if things are not going great, quits for you? Okay? $90 million was the contract asked by Devin White and his people. Okay? Devin White and his people. Once again, I see people constantly doing this. Devin White was an all-pro football player in his second year. okay, in his second year, had showed signs of being a superstar player, had showed signs, but now that we know the true story of the guy, it changes the narrative of the man completely. He's not the same player he was year two. Okay? He's not. Just like Carson Wentz wasn't the same player, or just like even Jalen Hurts from 22 to 23 wasn't the same player. Nobody in their right mind is going to say Jalen has a good year last year. Okay? So people, once again, folks, nobody flip-flops on anything here. The player's production is going to dictate how you cover them. That's common sense. One thing is for sure, takes are not in cement. You're too used to listening to these old fogies who think those things matter like that. A player's production, once again, dictates how you cover him. Does it or not? If a guy starts out great, looks super, then turns into shit, are you supposed to still call him great? According to some, yes. That's why you have guys like Bayless that still attack LeBron James. That argument was over after Miami with LeBron James. That debate has been over for a decade and a half. It's been over. LeBron will go down as the first or second greatest player in the history of the NBA. Look at Stevens. Devin White, comeback player of the year. For what? Sucking out loud the last 5? Yeah? Wow. I'll tell you something. I'll make you a prediction. Devin White won't be a starting linebacker by the end of the year. Mark it down March 28th. He won't be starting by the end of the year. That is a prediction, and I'm gonna stand on that limb. He won't be starting. Zach Cunningham and Zach Cunningham and a linebacker that yet is not on this football team will be the starting linebackers on this team. Either Parsi Wilson or it will be Edrin Cooper, and it will be Zach Cunningham who will be starting on this team. It will not be who they have in the preseason and in the offseason, the people they have right now on their depth chart. They've been putting Nakobe Dean on the depth chart for 2 years, and he's not made it through the year yet. Okay? Here's one thing that I will do. I'm going to put that out there. He won't be your starting linebacker by the end of the year because it's going to get to a point where even Vic Fangio goes, he can't cover and he can't tackle. Move on. Here we go. How many people believe right now that your football team is a Super Bowl contending team? Vegas does. They think you're a 10.5 win football team. I think Baltimore, the Chiefs, 49ers. I think there's a couple football teams that Vegas thinks that are going to win a couple more. Okay? I did, Slagger. I saw that Kansas City signed that rugby player. I sure did. You're starting to see more and more of that, especially, I think, since Mulata's success. Twist says Vegas knows. Flexing goes defense sucks. How many people believe, though, the talent that you have, that you believe that this football team is going to be a Super Bowl contending football team? For sure, Lombardi in February. I wrote these things down. I think they're like 12. I think there's 12 things that have to happen, maybe even 13, that have to happen for you to be a team that will be in a conversation at the end of the year for being a Super Bowl contending team. Okay? Here they are. For you to be a Super Bowl contending team, Hurts has to get back to the MVP of 2022. Nothing short of it. He's got to be spectacular. If he's anything like 21 or 22, it'll be a failure season. If he returns back to form, one of the 13 things, you have 13 things that need to happen for you to be a Super Bowl contender. He has to play like an MVP, not for 10 weeks, not for 14 weeks, for 17 weeks. Number 2, Barkley has to be a star. Saquon Barkley has to be a star. Anything short of that, it's a failure. His floor is 1,200 rushing yards. Has to get over that. That's been the standard set by the last 2 running backs that have been Pro Bowlers. That's the standard. He has to exceed that. Okay? I mean, get this. I'm going to bring this point up here. I don't think I've seen somebody's opinion change so drastically about a player in one season than yours has on White. You wanted him in Philly in 23. Dirty D. No, that's not true. There is someone else that you've seen someone's opinion change on a player. The Bucs. Yes. Dirty D. Did the Bucs change their opinion on him in 1 year? Yes or no? And they paid the man and gave him an extension. Dirty D. I'm asking you. The Bucs gave him a contract extension. Paid him more money. And then they decided to walk away from him from a year later. Did the Bucs? Hold on. No, Dirty D. No. No. That's not an excuse. They gave him an extension. They gave him an extension and then fired him. With hip drop pass, do linebackers who are athletic but also have exceptional hips for lateral movement and eye discipline become a premium now and in the future? Forget tackling because that's always required. White sadly only has one of these. James, I think you have to be more of a Tampa 2 guy. So here, get this. Okay? SILZ is biased because of Buck. No, I'm not biased. I don't give a shit what the Bucs do. I don't give a shit if the Bucs win or lose. Bucs had me fired, guy. Senor's lying. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had me fired from WDIE. Why would I support them? Why would I support them? Wrong. Not true, as usual. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave that man a contract extension and then fired him the next year. No one wants to say that, hey, SILZ, you were high on him last year. So were the Bucs. They gave him a contract extension. Then this year they said, no, thank you. I'm done with you. Yeah, okay. I changed like the Bucs did. Sure, okay. Once again, a football team, instead of just an opinion, a football team walked away from giving a guy more money a year removed from that, and you think because I changed my opinion, I looked at the Bucs' behavior. They changed their opinion on the 5th pick in the NFL draft. Let me tell you something. If Howie Roseman had failed on Jalen Carter, we'd be sitting here killing him if he had failed on the 9th pick? Would we not be? We're killing him right now on the 13th pick. Panthers fired Frank Reich after 8 games. Doesn't make him a bad coach. Frank Reich was fired because he did not want Bryce Young as the quarterback of the team. He wanted C.J. Stroud and argued with Tepper. And Tepper and him decided to part ways, and that's why he was fired. Frank never wanted Bryce Young. Everyone knows that's the reason he was canned, because he knew Young wasn't big enough to sustain the hits in the game, and fought with the owner. But the owner wanted that quarterback because of his Alabama pedigree. That's not an excuse. It's reality. And by the way, money talks, bullshit walks, guys. The Bucs gave Devin White the money. Now you got Todd Bowles taking shots at him that he's not a good football player and he's not trustworthy. He said that yesterday and this morning at the NFL owner meetings. Let me continue. These are the 12 to 13 things that have to happen if you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. Number 3, Cam Jurgens has to be a Pro Bowler. Anything short of that, it's a massive downgrade not having Kelsey in there. So far, Hurts has to play at MVP level. Barkley has to be a superstar. And Cam Jurgens has to be a Pro Bowler. He has to be a Pro Bowler. Number 4, Dallas Goedert's got to stay healthy so that Jalen has the middle of the field to deal with. He has to. Chris says, I don't think Cam starts at center. Well, they don't have a center on the team. I think Cam Jurgens has to play all pro, not all pro, but Pro Bowl center. Here's the problem. RTF goes, what about Lane? SILZ moving over to center. Why would I go to a position that pays me less money? Now, RTF, I know he's got the money now, but he was paid as a guard $20 million. Jason Kelsey last year was the highest paid center in the league. I think at 13, 12, something like that. Maybe $10 million. It's a lesser paid position. He's the highest paid guard in the league at $20 million plus. Why? I know he played center. Who cares? You want to play the money positions. You don't want to pay position. Like being a tight end is great in the NFL today because very few linebackers can cover them, but they're not paid like receivers. I mean, think about something here. I'll show you how crazy the receiving market is. Hunter Renfrow last year made $13 million as like what, the 2 or 3rd guy in Vegas's offense. He makes more money than Saquon Barkley. He makes more money than Derrick Henry. He makes more money than Josh Jacobs. And he was the 3rd receiver on the Vegas team. I mean, the wide receiver market is almost as volatile as the quarterback. And the running back is, I think, more instrumental. I want to say one thing. I want to go back to Barkley here because I want to go back to Barkley. Is there a difference between Saquon? Because Xander said something about Barkley. I think it was you, Xander. Well, Barkley's 1,200. Say Barkley lands on 1,200 rushing yards or 1,100 rushing yards. Will his 1,100 rushing yards be schemed differently than what you had to do with Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. I hope you understand that because it's a little in the weeds when I say this. You know, because I'm going to explain something here. Is it a little in the weeds or too much in the weeds for you that Saquon Barkley's 1,200 yards may be more valuable? No, not because, not more gifted. But how about this? When you got a guy like that, he's a multiple threat because he's also a better decoy than what Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift are. Not anything to do with, he's more of a his strength is also in being a decoy because you have to still defend him. So his presence on the field may bring more than what Miles Sanders and what DeAndre Swift have. And in pass blocking, he's a better pass blocker, yes. So his value in the huddle, even though he may not get the numbers, he's still going to be like Anthony said. He's a threat at every, that's right. Okay, that's right. Here's a great take by LJ. How many drives were stalled because Sanders and Swift always cut outside? He's right. He's right. Yes. So his value in the huddle, he's probably going to be worth the value also of paying the guy. I just wanted to put that in there. Again, I wrote 13 things down here for the Eagles to be a Super Bowl contending football team. These are some of the things that I believe have to happen here. I said Hurts has to play at an MVP level again. Barkley has to be a star. Juergens has to be a Pro Bowler. Goddard has to stay healthy. Here's number 5. Barkley's impact will be far greater than his stat sheet. Probably so, Dirty D. Thank you very much. Dirty D reminds me, all super chats, by the way, all go to the top, and we appreciate you guys have been killing it the last couple weeks. Thank you so much. You know, ever since Sander kicked my ass on it, thank you guys so much. And if I happen to F up with my brilliant Miami education, we'll reread it for you too, just so we make sure we keep everything fair here. Okay? I mean, look, man. Look, Barkley bounces outside too much as well. I think sometimes because he had inferior offensive line inside and he had to take it outside because the only people that would block for him would be those receivers. Here's a tough one at 5, though. Nolan Smith has to be a factor. Would we not say he's part of this process? If they're going to be a Super Bowl contending team, he's got to be a factor. He's got to be a factor if he's going to be a guy you can count on because, again, the 31st player taken, he's got to be a factor on this team, especially if you're moving off of Reddick. Number 6, I got Jordan Davis. Has to be a star. Now, again, I said something yesterday to you guys. I hope they use him right. They've not been using him right. You're wearing him down, trying to make him See, here's something that the Eagles are notorious for. Why are you trying to make Jalen Hurts a drop-back quarterback and take away his RPO ability that's so sensational? And why are you trying to make Jordan Davis a 3-down lineman when everyone knows he's not, and you wear him out, and he has no gas for you in the back end of the season, and you've done it 2 years in a row? Why are you trying to change players that when you draft, you think you know what you're doing with them? You don't. You hired an inferior offensive coordinator for Hurts. You thought you could still get the player to be a next-level guy. He went even further back, and you wore Davis out last year with inferior coaches. Why do they change players? I mean, why do they? Yeah, but Chris, the way they operate, trying to change players' skill set, you're never going to change the player's skill set. 41, okay, time to get serious. Bottom line, Barkley will destroy a bad rush defense early in. Sitting in these children here will go ballistic. Then the OC will run him and boom, injured again, out for 3 games. So you're saying they may overuse him. Probably. Hey, that's a question mark. That is totally a question mark. SILZ, the contract signed is in direct relation to the amount of time a player is discussed by the opposing team leading up to the game. I don't believe Swift or Sanders were discussed like Barkley. Yeah, but both had Pro Bowl years. Hey, both had Pro Bowl years. Corey says that Jordan Davis looked mediocre after week 8. He did. Do we got to find out who Nolan's? Hey, how about this? Somebody said, SILZ, a lot of teams have young players. You do? But I don't even know who he is yet. I mean, he had a whole season last year, and he didn't show anything. 0. He's got to be a contributor. If you're going to be all of these things, in my opinion, all have to hit. Barkley is the toy Howie's always wanted to, probably like you're saying, McCaffrey. Yes, because they did go after Christian McCaffrey last year or a year before. Look at what Coach Ramil said yesterday, SILZ. He only said it about 2 guys, Hurts and Mahomes. They have no limitations. I disagree with Coach. Watch this. They have no limitations. What was the limitation last year? Let me guess. Poor coaching, right? He was a turnover machine a year ago. He had 18 turnovers. I think he does have limitations, and he showed it. Poor on blitzes, poor on throwing across the middle of the field. Mahomes has no problem throwing across the middle of the field. Jalen Hurts can't throw across the middle of the field. And he didn't all year last year. Look the numbers up. 8 quarterback rating in the middle of the field. You know what's funny about your football team? The 2 weakest parts of your football team are in the middle of the field on both sides of the ball. Gee, I wonder if that's a coincidence. You don't believe in linebackers, and you don't believe in throwing across the middle of the field. Can't be a coincidence there. Jordan Davis has to be a star. And that could be on second. That could be first and second down. He could be a star. Oh, so according to Chris, you're wrong about him being bad in the middle of the field. He had an 8 quarterback rating. How is that good? They were successful doing it. No, they weren't. They threw to the numbers. He had an 8 quarterback rating in the middle of the field. You're lying. That's not true. Look at the tight end and also look at wide receiver 3, 36 total catches. SILZ, look at all the facts. There wasn't any routes over the middle of the field. That is Nick and Brian Johnson. Okay? Okay. So you didn't game plan for the entire field. You game planned to 2 players. Is that what you're saying, Dirty D? And Nick is still here. Do you really think that's going to change? That Kellen Moore is going to change on what they're doing here? So you're saying the things they've done the last 3 years, Kellen Moore's coming in and revamping the offense. Is that correct? Here's James. James, thank you so much, man. Do you see Eagles getting Tanner Bortolini on day 2 or 3, given Carter and a guard versatility and beating Kelsey's 3 come time at 7.16 versus Kelsey's 7.22? A sleeper to cover for Cam. And if Powers Johnson not falling to 22, he'd help Hurts. I think that guy, James, I think that guy from Oregon's going to I think he's going to the Cowboys because the Cowboys lost their center. I think he's going to the Cowboys. I'll tell you this, man. If Brock Bowers does drop LJ down to 22, man, I don't know how he doesn't grab him. I grab that guy. If that guy drops down to 22, the reason, LJ, it's not his stocks dropping. It's these quarterback stocks are being elevated for no reason, and wide receivers are shooting up the board. Like I said, look at this. Look at how many defensive players are going to go in the top 10. 1. The rest of them are linebackers. The rest of them are quarterbacks and wide receivers and offensive linemen. There's only 2. There's 4 quarterbacks who could go in the top 10. And if that's not even counting the kid Penix and the kid Bo Nix, they may all go in the top 25 picks. Personally, I think Jaden Daniels is the only one that has star power. Okay? Dak Prescott's a Hall of Famer, big SILZ. Sure. You must have dreamed that last night when you had your hand on yourself. LJ doesn't have contacts to GMs talking about stocks. Funny. Okay, hey, they want him and Marvin Harrison Jr. 2 of the 3 quarterbacks will be bust. Dude, I think more than you think. Bob Brown says SILZ, his lack of skill, or Hurts played poorly because he was put in more positions to succeed, probably since in 22. I think both can be true. I think Hurts has a ceiling. I think Hurts has a certain skill set. And if you play into that skill set like Shane Steichen did in 22, I think he is a really good football player, and he's someone that can win a lot of ball games for you. If you start to do the things that they did last year, poor play calling, poor schemes, poor everything else around him, he's not good enough to elevate his game against poor coaching. He can't overcome poor coaching. Okay? I don't know very many people who can overcome poor coaching. You can wreck the best of them. The throw chart comparison between 22 and 23 shows a more balanced performance with Shane than the offensive strategy of the head coach in 23. Prince, that's correct. And you know what, too, Prince, made it even more dangerous in 22? Get this. Jalen had better numbers across the board outside of the turnovers in 23. But yet he had a better season in 22. Why? He protected the ball, and he was more of a threat in a run game. It's simple. It's a simple equation. And the Eagles don't want any of that. They don't want any of that. I'm kidding you, Bruce. We're boys, you know that. SILZ, why are we stuck in what he did in 22? I'm not. I'm more about what he did in 23 because that's the latest sample size of his ability. 22 means shit to me right now. That's old history. They clearly don't want him to be that player because they don't want him getting injured. Well, Denny, if you're thinking about getting a player injured on March 28th, you'll never win the Super Bowl. Why is Nick here? Thank you, Prince. Let me move on. I think BG's replacement has to be a contributor. Okay? He has to be a contributor, whoever that is. The draft is best way to build a team. Free agency is full of guys that teams didn't want them, and teams overpay those guys. 304. Here's the one thing, though, about when you're talking about free agency versus the draft. It's a longer putt to develop players out of the draft than it is free agency. That's why when you get a free agent and you sign a free agent, hey, 304, why do you think I'm harder on free agents than I am on draft picks? Because you know who they are and you're paying them. Okay? I don't want any excuses. A rookie, you kind of give them like a, rookie year. Like Jalen Carter falling off the planet at the end of the season. I'm not upset with that. Nolan Smith not showing up at all, concerning. Kobe Dean, I'm starting to put a narrative on him. Kaylee Ringo, they got hurt at the end. Kind of unfair. Sidney Brown, smoke a joint, kid. Slow the game down. Do something. You've got a lot of energy. You're got a lot of things that can make me like you. Easy. Calm down. You know what I'm saying? I like that kid. Breed Blankenship, I'm hot and cold on him and hit and miss. I'm like, some days I like him. Some days I look at him and go, he can't be my starting safety. He can't be my starting safety. Can't be. Bradbury, Gardner Johnson's back. Does that help? I have to hope it helps. Honestly, this is how I look at your defense today. And I'll continue this here. But this is how I look at your defense. Let me go down the line here. Bryce Huff, okay. We'll see. I want to finish this because, when you start putting those assessments on a guy on March 18th, it may not be fair a little bit here. Again, I wrote these 13 things down. For you to be a Super Bowl contender this year has to happen. Hurts MVP. Barkley has to be a star and healthy. Cam Jurgens has to be a Pro Bowler. Goddard has to be healthy. Nolan Smith has to be a factor. Jordan Davis has to be a star. BG's replacement, this guy has to be a guy who contributes. Number 8, James Bradbury has to be good, not great. He just has to be good. It just has to be good. I'll be smoking that SILZ pack when Eagles. Bradbury's a sound zone cornerback. Only so safety rotation with Gardner Johnson could help him. All this bus were in cover 1, which we ran on 3rd exclusively. That's a great take, James. That's a big take. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's a great take. Bradbury bounces back because Gardner Johnson. You know what? I know you guys don't think I'm optimistic. I think that does help, and I think that played into why he came back. Milton Williams, BG's replacement. How you doing? Okay. I'm okay. Hey, Marshall, I'm okay with that. Okay? I'm okay with that. I think he's good. Is he good enough to set the edge, though? Like, get this. The Eagles must think he's better than Clowney, or they would have signed Clowney for that job. Because $10 million, $12 million, you can afford that. Okay? You can afford Clowney to take that role. He had 9.5 sacks last year. Okay? Jadeveon Clowney had 9.5 sacks. Okay? $12 million. Hear this. Would you sign Clowney or would you sign Chase Young? I'd probably sign Clowney because he's healthier. Clowney might be a little older, but he's healthier. But they must think Milton Williams is good enough to play out there. Reddick is still under contract for this year, right? He is. Number 9, Gardner Johnson. CJ has to make plays. He just, has to make plays for him to really be a factor. Has to make plays for him to be a guy you look at and go, yes, okay, that was why we brought him back. Has to make plays. Number 10, Devin White has to be good, not exceptional. Remember what Herm said? You don't have to be overly crazy great there. You got to be good there. If Devin White is good, it's a massive upgrade. If he's good, could it happen? The only reason that I'll give it possibly be good is because he's 26. Crowley goes, I'll take exceptional. But you're not paying for exceptional. You're paying $3 million for Devin White. That's not exceptional. William, a little more than serviceable. Okay? Prince goes like this. There goes SILZ covering his takes. No, I don't think he will. I'm saying this is what has to happen for you to be once again, you're missing the topic. I said this is what has to happen for you to be a Super Bowl contender. Do I think that happens? Okay, that's great, actually. Bryce Huff has to show he's a 3-down player. Okay, thanks, Prince. I'll go back open this. Will Hurts play to an MVP candidate this year? No, I don't believe so. Will Barkley be a star? No, because he'll be hurt. Cam Jurgens, will he be a Pro Bowler? Yes. Because of the guy coaching him. Yes. Will Goddard stay healthy? No. Will Nolan Smith be a factor? No. Will Jordan Davis be a star? Maybe. I'm more optimistic that Clint Hurtt is in the building with him, and I think knows his skill set and what he is and what he's not. And if they do that, they're going to help the player a lot. Okay? SILZ, listening to your breakdown, it sounds like Philly has a bunch of situational players and not players who can adapt to changing situations. Damn, Bob, it's great. There's two. Well, look at the question marks. Let's put a question mark on it. Will Hurts be an MVP? I don't know. 3 different years. Will Barkley be healthy? I don't know. Will Cam Jurgens replace Jason Kelce? I don't know. Let's see here. Will Nolan Smith be a factor? I don't know. I think Dallas Diamond Page is going to step in with us either tomorrow or the next day. Nolan shit is the next Marcus Smith. Watch. Will Gardner Johnson make plays? Yeah, I think he will. Will James Bradbury bounce back? You know what? This is going to be crazy coming from me. You ready, Xander? I think James Bradbury has a bounce back season and plays up to his 2022 year because Gardner Johnson's back. And because you have a competent guy in Vic Fangio, I think James Bradbury is going to have a bounce back season. And everyone's going to go, thank God. I think he's going to have a bounce back season. Hey, man, Jalen Ramsey 2 years ago stunk in Los Angeles. He stunk. Okay? He stunk. Fangio's scheme suits Bradbury because he stinks in man coverage. Absolutely true. And remember something. Why did Matt Patricia get rid of Darius Slay in Detroit? Because he plays man coverage. And that's put Bradbury in even a more difficult situation. Did you watch that Seattle game? They had him in man. I don't know how many times they had him in man coverage. He's not a man coverage guy. And neither is really Slay a man coverage guy. Okay? I mean, I happen to think he's going to bounce back. Okay? No way, SILZ. Jalen will have a bounce back season, not Bradbury. He's got feet. He's got feet like Mozzie Smith. Bradbury's washed? All right. You guys think Devin White bounces back? I think Bradbury bounces back. SILZ, your glasses are half empty, and we're glass half full. You think negative. I just said Bradbury would have a bounce back season. I said Jordan Davis could have a really good year with Clint Hurt. Okay. It's over for Bradbury. All right. Hey, I'm pulling for the guy. I think he's going to bounce back. Will CJ make plays? Yes. Will White be a star? No. Will Bryce Huff be a 3-down player? No. Okay? Look at RTF. Bounce back means all pro. Dog. How many first-team all-pro guys did you have on your football team last year? Let's see. Lane and Kelsey. You had 2. And one just quit. Okay? One just quit. Jalen's never been first-team all-pro. I think SILZ has honestly taken happy pills today. He's not being nearly as hard as usual. That's not true. Really? Okay. Well, hey, I'm looking at I'm trying to tell you what things have to happen for you to be a Super Bowl contending team. Shine goes second team. Okay. I think second team's a big deal too. I think second team all pro is a big deal. It is. I think if you make first or second or third team all pro, I think it's a big deal. Okay, I do. Still smoked a joint before the show. That's not true, man. Am I coming off soft today? Can't be. Well, don't worry. I got a topic when we come back out at the top of the hour. Okay, don't worry. We'll be back to normal out of the top of the hour here. Wear jersey and eat a bucket of Look at Senor. Senor goes like this. SILZ. I don't know, man. I may have to unsubscribe because you're not being your usual dickhead self. Well, hell, that means okay, wait, Corey. I'm on the soft meter of 5. Do you know that every time I come on here, I'm trying to do something because I was told, listen to me here. I make everybody nervous. And you see, my guy James too, he's like, damn, man, still scares so many people. He just scares so many people. Hey, come on, guys. Give me a break. He scares a lot of people. I'm not trying to scare. I'm not trying to scare everybody today. Okay, it's my aunt reminded me. It's Holy Thursday. Can you give me a break? Tomorrow's Good Friday. You want me to be an asshole on Good Friday? But on. Come on. Come on, SILZ. Where's the hate, damn it? Look at that. Don't come on. He always rants when I ask good questions. Josh Allen is a poor man's Dan Marino. Okay, LJ, fight is back on. All right, March Madness is here. Our great friends at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you sign up too, man. March Madness is kicking into high gear here. And our loyal viewers and subscribers, we thank you guys so much for each and every single day that you're with us here. They will match you all the way up to $100. So if you put 10 in, you get 10. 10 is the minimum. Please sign up. Use the promo code WIN. That's W-I-N. That's W-I-N. Don't forget, at 4:30, one of the 3 coaches in pro football history in the Super Bowl era have won a national title and a Super Bowl. We will bring you the 3-time national champion coach, Hall of Famer himself in college football, our friend Barry Switzer. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.